Okay, here we are, Saturday night at the Romford Film Festival. It's Horror Day, and earlier on we saw a fantastic short film, one of my favourite short films, I must admit. Eric, made by this gentleman here. Would you like to just introduce yourself and your role, please?
Yeah, my name's David Yorke. I'm the writer and director of Eric.
Fantastic. First question, I desperately want to know what your elevator pitch for Eric was. How did you sell this film to people that you wanted to work with?
It was actually a response of one of my previous films doing quite well on the festival circuit, and genre audiences are just the best. And I knew I just wanted to make another one, and I basically wrote the script quite quickly, and I just had a team in place pretty much. Like we all sort of knew each other, and as soon as you put a dog horror, the sort of dating apps, you throw that in a blender. I got people quite quick. It wasn't difficult. It was just I think when your other work has done quite well, it's easier to get people attached. It's just trying to do strong films, and so it was pretty easy. So I didn't know little elevator pitch. It just sort of all come together quite quickly.
Was Eric always going to be a Pomeranian?
Always, yeah. That was actually a conversation because they're not known to actually do a lot.
Yeah.
Like there's many dogs, many breeds of dogs that would run, and like we looked through a lot of different breeds, and my producer was like, "Can we change the breed of dog?" I was like, "No, it has to be this one." And my editor Ross, if you saw all the sort of dailies, all the footage, the dog didn't do a lot.
Okay.
And the magic of sound design, music, and some really good editing hopefully made the audience believe that this was a very vicious dog, but it was most of the time a dog looking confused and just sitting there and not moving. Yeah. So we had to come up with some creative tricks to get it to do certain things.
Okay. I think Pomeranians look confused kind of most of the time. It's kind of part of their appeal, isn't it?
Yeah, and then as soon as you put some sinister music on and some great sound design, it completely changes. Hopefully it worked, and just changes confused worked quite well because you don't know what it's going to do. Yeah. So hopefully that added to it.
So when you say some tricks, is there any examples you can share with us? How do you actually get a dog to kind of do what you want?
Oh yeah, I could talk for ages, but I know everyone's probably tired. There was like anyone who's made a film, you can probably see some of the tricks. Like we were told the dog could do certain things, but it didn't on the day. When you take a dog in an unnatural environment with a cast and crew, it's probably not going to perform like it would have with its trainer in their own home. So we had things like I needed it to look aggressive and go as if it's about to bite. We didn't have that, but my editor got a moment where the dog was yawning and did a jump cut. We tried to get it to run. It would never run. Yeah. And so we put it on the lead, and this was my DOP come up with a great idea, and basically ran around the whole room, and we took every little like half a second moment where you just see the legs like that. But if you'd had a frame either side, you'd see someone else's legs and the dog lead. Yeah. So it's just doing it, and it was pretty obvious. Like when the dog sort of comes forward, we do the old classic POV of the dog as if it's to lunge up, because we knew we were never going to get that whole jumping up. But what it was good at was just staying still, which is what you need when you're setting up your shot, and then if they move. But it was great at that. Let's
talk about the cast. So you got Gemma Moore in there, who most people I think know from Host, right?
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah, how did you get Gemma on board?
That was lucky. I think anyone who's in the creative industry and you're on Instagram and you're sort of linked with loads of different, actors and crew, you start to just, you like a few posts and you chat to a few people, and as soon as like Host come out, I was a massive fan of that, and I guess I was sort of like, this is great, and you know what I mean. And then over time, I just sort of reached out and just was like, I've got this script that I think you'd be great for. and she read it and loved it. And yeah, I was very surprised to get her, especially just after Host, because I was like, oh, she's just clearly going to be doing features. She doesn't want to come back and do a short. But we have some, it pays to, like, because I've got friends that knew her as well, so she probably did a thing of like, what's it like to work with, like, working with Dave, and that probably helped. So whenever you're doing shorts, you don't know where these actors are going to go, and you don't know who their friends are. So if you hopefully do a good job, you're going to get recommended. So like, I got a great composer, Holly. She'd not seen any of my shorts. She only did this because of the editor, Ross. And I was like, you've not seen any of my shorts? And she was like, no, if Ross is on it, then that's a good enough sign for me to do the music on it. And I was like, okay. And like Holly, she's amazing. She's doing, like, every short she does is BAFTA qualifying, all in the big festivals. And yeah, to get people like that was really lucky. Because it's such a silly, well, it's you know, I'm proud of it, but it is a very silly film.
Yeah.
And when you're getting these great talent on board, it means a lot, yeah.
It's, I mean, you say silly, but it's a great film. People were laughing all the way through. It's a very enjoyable short.
Yeah, but when you have a dog and a tuxedo,
yeah.
you know, that's when I mean silly, do you know what I mean?
Was there any questions for David at this point? Please put your hand up. Yeah, one here at the front.
Sorry, this is probably going to be a silly question.
It's all right.
I love it.
Oh, thank you.
It was hilarious, and the little quirks, Gemma was fantastic.
She's great.
She was just the right amount of creepy.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. When the dog jumped, did you throw it? I mean, how did you
We actually had a stand-in fake dog. So when it runs, we have that moment, and then we cut immediately to a lunge, and then for a couple of frames, because the actor, Ollie, obviously didn't want to like throw this dog around, so we have the moments of a natural, it's like a really just, like my producer has it, she's given it to her daughter, it's just a stand-in fake Pomeranian Teddy type thing. It's not just any one, it like kind of looks okay, but as soon as you see it, you'll be like, that's, you know, but if you have it for a moment, it works. So yeah, that's the way we got with that. So we just mixed it up to try and, because I wanted it as practical as possible. There's a tiny bit of VFX work, but most of the time it's all in camera as much as possible. We just use loads of old techniques. Most people who make films will probably guess what we've done, but hopefully we've done a good enough job where, you know it's not literally leaping up, but for that moment, I hope you go with it. Do you know what I mean? Thanks.
Yep, one more here. Just behind you.
I love the idea of just throwing the dogs.
Do you think you'll make any other shorts with any other animals? If so, what animals?
Oh my God, what a question. This was hard, very difficult. If you've ever done a short or any film with an animal, they come first, and you have to do the whole shoot around the animal. Like, for an example, we had like 3 shots in that bathroom, but you have to do all the scenes with the dog. So if I'm downstairs, like if I've got to do the living room stuff with the dog, you normally do all your scenes in the bathroom, right? But it's like, oh, there's only 2 scenes, so we'd have to go downstairs. So we'd have to like break everything down and then reset up. Whereas normally you'd save a lot of time and do everything in that one, but we couldn't. The dog dictated what we would be doing. And for me to do another film with a dog, the thing is, I do love dogs, so I sort of write them into a script, but I wouldn't do it as the focus anymore because it was really difficult and they're unpredictable. I've worked with kids as well, and they say don't work with
fatal mistake.
Yeah, and I've learnt a lot, and it is difficult. But sometimes, like, child actors can be better than adult actors. You know what I mean? So, but yeah. Any other animals? I don't think so. We'll see what comes up, but yeah, I don't know. I did try to work with a cat, and it scratched me, so probably not again.
What was the hardest scene to shoot?
Hardest scene. He didn't like being washed in a bath. As you can see, he's on the yeah, the dog's name's Jane. It's a lady dog, and if you've seen the credits, she's literally on the edge. She just doesn't want to be in that, but because she kept sliding around the bathtub, that was hard. That was a thing where everyone was like, "Can we cut this?" And I was like, "No, I really need it," because it was a hard setup to do. But a lot of it, I think when planning it, we kept getting behind schedule, and on day 3 we were about 8 hours behind, and it was like we need a 4th day. And because in my mind you kind of go, oh, this is how long it's going to take, and you double it usually. That's the way I work, but this was like triple it again. It just took, because as soon as you're working with a dog, everything just takes 3-4 times as long. So it doesn't probably look that challenging or that difficult, but it just really was. It just took ages, and but everyone did such an amazing job, so I'm really proud of them.
I feel your pain because my Pomeranian does not like
Yeah, but the dog was actually lovely. It was just my stupid concept of like thinking, oh yeah, we'll do this in 3 days, but no.
This is going to sound like a weird question.
Go for it.
Is there any kind of like conditions that you have to work towards with the dog, like hours?
Yeah,
for example?
they get
Right.
a certain amount of hours.
Okay.
This is why I was saying like you have to shoot everything with the dog, because then they have to have a break, and they only work to a certain amount of time.
Did Eric have a trailer?
No, but it was funny. You could see her just getting tired, and it was like she was an actor, like a proper actor. Like we'd have the shot lined up, and she'd just be like this, but she'd still be like standing like this, and you could just go, it was weird sometimes. It was just like she knew, like, yeah, exactly. But I just think she just got really tired, like, doing the same thing all the time, like trying to, the dinner scene. We was trying to get her to jump up, and then she kept like sliding off chairs and stuff like that. And she's so small, and it was just, yeah, it was ridiculous.
One last question, right there.
So I'm curious about the death of the boyfriend.
Yeah.
Because you said this film was silly, but the death was quite vicious.
Yeah.
Like a vampire in a way, straight to the throat. I was curious, was there a temptation to make the death also quite silly, almost Home Alone-esque? As if like the dog really pulling the wire and something falling on top of him? Or was it always going to be a vicious kind of killing like that?
Yeah, I feel bad now saying the film's silly, because there's actually, like, it's got serious subjects. I mean, this is a guy that's, he's sort of seen other girls on the side. He's not treating her particularly well. And, like, it's played for laughs a little, but for example, when he discovers the book and we see how many men she's dated, I don't see her as the villain. I see her as someone who's been pushed to this, that she's met so many bad guys. She was once probably like really like just a normal sane person, but the whole idea was that she'd met so many bad guys and she was pushed to this, and this dog is like, vetting out these terrible guys. So I wanted that to be, a truthful moment. It was like, oh, here's another one. She thought he was going to be okay, and it's the dog's looking out for her. Like, I always said the dog was an extension of her personality. It was someone that was like, yeah, literally looking out for her. Every time she's like, oh, I don't know, the dog's like, no, he's a bad guy. You know this, but I'm going to do it for you, sort of thing. Yeah. So, yeah, I always wanted it. There'll be like a couple of laughs, but it's almost he's the straight guy. He's in this weird situation, but so I wanted everything around him being quite straight and it being normal. It's just he's in this weird situation and it just goes darker and darker essentially. Hopefully that answers your question.
Great stuff. David, thank you so much for bringing this film. It's not silly in any way. It's fantastic short. I hope everyone enjoyed it. I'm sure they did. Can we have a round of applause, please, for David? Thank you.
Thanks, Ron. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it.